Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Stephanie. How are you?
Whatever time zone you're in, we've got you covered.
We have got you covered. And with us today is a special guest,
That's right.
Chris, filling in for the lovely Danielle, who just completely no-showed on us this morning. So we're gonna go with the three of us.
I feel like you can just call me Danielle today. And
I do behind your back, but let's not talk about that.
Why stop now? It's funny because Stephanie calls me something else entirely, but it's not
so. Chris, you got any dad jokes? Can I put you on the spot? Do you have any dad jokes for me?
The one that I was going to tell is your dad joke that you sent us over Slack, which I just thought was so funny. I've told it 3 times since then. I fell in love with this melon. I just love her. I just want so much to be with her. But we went to the county courthouse and it turns out we can't elope.
I tried to tell that joke on a Zoom call this morning, and it turns out I'm not even remotely funny.
Is it fair to say that the three of us are just people that, like, we're the only people that find each other funny? And so it's just why we just use the podcast as an excuse for that.
Sure.
If a child, so I have when my kids were little, like my daughter would never, ever go down for a nap. She would never, ever sleep. And so I always had to figure out how to do things kind of around her. But I was wondering, like, if a child refuses to go down for a nap, can you say that they're resisting arrest?
Okay. Our dad jokes are about a 3 out of 10 today.
Which means I give that 2 points better. I like it.
They're 2 points better than they usually are. Yeah, exactly right. All right, so today we're going to talk about luck. What if most decisions we made as founders were reversible? Would you move faster and try to manufacture luck? Did you know, Stephanie and Chris, science in 2022 found moderately weak ties? What? Science? And this intro does not read right. I'm like trying to figure out what the hell.
Fire whoever
on
wrote
LinkedIn
it.
boosts job mobility more than strong ties, especially in digital jobs. What the hell does that sentence mean?
It's your professionalism that I respect.
What the hell?
Do you want me to take over for you, Anthony? Or are you good?
No. IB East McKenzie Turley scaled via microbets, workshops, DMs, pop-ups, turning weak ties into nationwide demand. Reversible moves manufactured luck. Today on How to Founder, we're going to talk about that thing. You've seen founders get lucky. You've heard about the overnight success that took 10 years. We're going to talk about those things today. I am your terribly worded host, Anthony. With me is Stephanie, my co-host, and our special guest, Chris, who knows a lot about luck. He knows a lot about luck.
Mainly the bad kind, but yes.
Luck and wisdom have been chasing Chris for many years. So, Chris, I'm going to ask.
I haven't caught up yet.
I'm going to start with you, Chris. So we're talking about luck and reversible decisions, how they're related. So, I want you to talk a little bit about that notion of reversible decisions and luck, and how do they intertwine? How do they relate?
I think it's a very interesting topic because one of the things that's underlying it is this idea that there is really no such thing as luck, is that we make our own luck. We can manufacture our own luck. And how do we go about doing that? What are the steps that we can take? And I do think that making smaller decisions is a very, very clear and good answer. But I think maybe start off with a controversial opinion here. I actually don't think it's about the decision you make. And I don't think it's about the whether or not you choose A or B. I think it's the act of making a decision which creates your luck. I think that so many times, particularly early stage founders, we get frozen in these decisions, even small decisions. What color should our logo be? Should we website? That we stop making decisions. We stop making them quickly. But if you can start to equate these ideas, that making that decision can help generate this lucky outcome, this positive outcome, I think it potentially can help. I don't know. Stephanie, Anthony, what do you think?
I think this is a numbers game, honestly. Like, I think that when you're like me and you're a verbal processor, I think that actually works in your favor to develop luck, because I know that when I meet anybody in the business context, I will always tell them exactly what I'm doing, what I want, where I'm going, the big picture vision, and I'm planting seeds for future luck, right? And I think it's just about being totally pervasive. Like, I will take any podcast interview on anyone's show at any time, because you just never know where that luck's going to come from. We just landed a very big client last week because I was on someone's podcast and they happen to have, a business that works with the people that will be perfect clients for us. And she just remembered our interview and she sent over this referral. And now we have what is going to be a very, very big client for us. So I think that if that's what we're calling luck, I think maybe that's what we have to sort of just define. Like, what is luck? Is that luck? Do we create
Well, if the three of us all had 100 at-bats facing a major league pitcher, if we hit one of 100 pitches.
Are we talking about sports ball again?
Yeah.
You see, Stephanie, there's this thing called baseball.
All right, cricket.
We don't do baseball up here.
If we hit one, is that lucky?
What are we hitting? I don't know the analogy. Sorry.
100. You don't know baseball?
So 100 pitches.
100
and
pitches.
We hit one.
And we hit one. Are we lucky, or did we at least stand up at the plate and take a swing? So luck is about the number of at-bats you give yourself. And Jeff Bezos called similarly related. He called it the two-way door philosophy. He's like, as long as it's a two-way door, walk through the door. And what he meant by two-way door is if you can walk back through the door. There's a certain amount of doors that once you walk through, it's over. You can't walk that back. But most of the decisions we make as founders, you can try it, take the at-bat, and then if it doesn't work, you can walk it back and pick another door. What
if we looked at every decision that way?
Looked at aren't there some decisions though that if you make and you're wrong, it's catastrophe?
Maybe, but I think that's more about
Rogaine in the 90s, and
I think that's more about how you what you consider to be a catastrophe, what you consider to be I don't know. It's an interesting thought, and certainly there are some decisions where it's like, okay, you decide now and you're committed. But I always look at that as okay, this is the decision I'm making right now. But when that's all played out, if it didn't turn out to give me the results I wanted, well, now I just have good information, right? So that I think if a founder brings that sort of fear of making the wrong decision, or that fear of every decision is irreversible, then we stop making them.
Here's the question, and I know, Anthony, I'm stepping on you as you're the host today, but I'm genuinely curious about your opinion on this, which is, what is luck? So we talk about getting lucky, and a lot of times people that they say, oh, we just got lucky, even though they don't believe they got lucky. They believe that they did everything right. They use that as kind of a false modesty piece.
Don't be so humble. You're not that great.
But almost everybody, I mean, we sit from the outside and go, gosh, that company got really lucky in the sense that they were in the right place at the right time. Of course, they would say that they worked their way to get there. So I guess I know it's taking a step back in this conversation, but Anthony, Stephanie, how would you define luck as in terms of an early stage company?
Well, Chris, we've seen a lot of founders do all the right things and they do everything right and still haven't seen success yet.
It's almost easier to define bad luck than it is.
Yes, so I exactly right. That's what I was thinking. It's like there's bad, and then last year at Denver Startup Week, remember that woman that came up to us that had this idea for bone broth soup in a tea
she's
bag?
gonna be a billionaire. Like
and did she get lucky? Yeah, she ran into us. We put her on a pitch, and the pitch got seen by a couple people at our startup event, and she's now crushing it. Was that luck? Yeah, but you can't get lucky if you don't give yourself the at bat, if you don't walk through the door, if you don't whatever it is, you have to take that step and move forward. And like Stephanie said, say what your intentions are, let the world and the universe know what you're doing, and opportunity will come your way. But if you keep it to yourself, another way of other founders do this, Chris, is they don't want to share the idea because they're worried about somebody stealing it.
Yeah.
You're never going to get lucky with that attitude. Steph, I'd love for you to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is why I don't feel like that's luck. I feel like that's this lady put herself in an environment that was going to potentially, like, if she hadn't been there, then there was very little chance that anything would happen. But she put herself in a place where something could happen. And so you're opening up the door. And it wasn't like she just stood there going, okay, somebody come up and notice me. She did her job, and she worked, and she talked, and she put herself in a position where something that she wants to have happen was more likely to happen. And if you don't do any of those things and place those bets, then the chances of anything lucky happening to you are pretty much zero.
Yeah. So you can increase your likelihood of getting lucky by putting yourself out there over and over and over again.
I think so. If we can, first, I've got 2 points.
Yeah.
And I'll try to make it brief. The first one is, so if what I'm hearing from you is correct, which is the idea of getting lucky is about creating as many opportunities for yourself. So creating opportunities that you believe can lead to potential outcomes. Number 2 is, I'm really proud of both of you. Neither of you have made the obvious joke on getting lucky.
You don't think that it's going to make it?
Yeah.
No, I know it is. I just want to say I'm proud of the restraint. Well done. Well done, both of you, about getting lucky, because I don't know that I would know anything about it.
It should have just been left unsaid the entire episode, so
No,
our audience would have been giggling through the whole episode.
Well, as not the host, I get to just say whatever crosses my mind. So it's pretty fun.
So you don't think, Stephanie, though, that it still takes luck? You don't think it still takes sitting next to the right person or talking to the right person, or it's still,
okay, here's an example.
Still some luck in it?
I don't know. So here's an example. I was flying from Toronto to Boston on like a super early flight in the morning, and I had done a stopover overnight in Toronto. So I was like, really tired and feeling like I really did not look like a really awesome person at that point in time. And this man got on the flight, and there was only a few of us on there, and he sat kind of behind me. I didn't know who he was. He seemed to know the flight attendants, and then I just turned around and started talking to him, because I just talked to everybody, and I heard something that he said, and I commented on it, and then we started talking. Turns out he was the CEO of WestJet, and he was there, but I could have just not talked to him and not made a connection to him. And it turns out he was going to this 3-day event at Harvard with Michael Porter, and going to talk to Michael Porter. And so we had this really great conversation the whole time on the flight, and he was making notes. And he was like, "Do you mind if I say what you just said to me to Michael Porter?" I'm like, "Do I mind?"
Can you quote me?
Right?
I would like you to correctly citation. Yeah.
Right. So we ended up having, like, we're still friends to this day. He's no longer the CEO of WestJet. He's retired and lives in New Zealand. But, like, was that luck that he was on the planet? I think there's people around us all the time, and if we don't take the time to figure out who they are, or talk to them, or like engage, then we never get that opportunity. But is it luck that, like, people around us all the time? So what I do to improve my chances of being lucky is to engage with people and ask them questions, and but is that lucky, or is that me creating a micro habit that increases my chances of getting connected with the right people?
I want you both to talk about something related to that. So the micro habit, I love that as a framing. And it basically increases the number of at bats that you get, right? So you just continually talking to folks and putting yourself in situations where you would have to be unlucky not to run into somebody that there's a connection to be made. There's also, let's talk about doing things that have low odds. Like, so taking a big swing for the fences every once in a while. Do you guys do anything like that? Have you ever taken a really big thing that maybe was a little risky?
I'm mid-swing right now. We're starting up a private equity fund. Like, what the hell do I know about private equity funds? But we're just both so committed that this is going to be the right direction that we're just, like, stepping in and doing it.
I think, Anthony, to tie those two together, the big swing also helps you get lucky. And being ambitious and being courageous, I didn't even mean to make the sex joke, and I made the sex joke, which is just
polish and release. Don't forget. Polish and release. You lucky.
There is.
I think that it's an opportunity.
I'm disappointed in you both.
I mean, I can't wait to see all the notes you have written down about the jokes you didn't tell today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm not taking notes down. Stephanie, are you taking notes down?
I'll do fundamentals. But I think that now I'm completely lost. I completely lost my train of thought because of the
bringing together
big swings and getting
being
lucky.
Ambitious. It helps create your luck. I think that's one of those things where you say, if you're doing something, because I don't think the way that we're defining luck is opportunities, but I think there's a second component of luck, and I'd love your opinion, which is luck is people helping. And so when you get lucky, it's because you get a client or you talk to the person, Stephanie, that turned out to be an amazing contact that you had. And it's almost always about other people. When you say getting lucky, it's not necessarily just this thing where it's like, oh, you try something. It's about somebody offering to help you. It might be fundraising, it might be introduction to customers, et cetera.
It could also be timing, right? Like,
absolutely,
it's an external circumstance that you don't have control over, but I would argue that you also still have intuition.
100%. But I think that people are willing to help you when you're ambitious, when you really genuinely are passionate about starting a private equity fund that can genuinely help hundreds of businesses. You are taking that big opportunity, and for lack of a better word, swinging for the fences, Anthony. That helps. It gets people inspired.
I feel like there's a flow here, though, that's like, once you get attuned to the things that you have to do on these micro habits that you have to do on an ongoing basis to make your luck more lucky, I think you just get into this flow of listening and, like, moving and being very, very fluid. And I think that's why my partner and I work really well, my business partner, because she and I are both like that. We will listen. We will say, there's a mentor over here who's going to help us. We're now putting the pieces together and we're collecting all of these things, but it's from continually having conversations about it to other people. So that's the micro habit, right? Is the constantly talking about what you're doing. And then people listen, they say, I know someone, I know someone, I know someone, I know someone. It's the watching what people are posting. And, this just happened last week too. We just saw a post that someone happened to post, someone I've been watching that I've been wanting to work with again. And now I'm coming on as the operator in his business. Like, it's those micro habits, and it's perception and it's intuition.
So here's the question I would ask both of you. So if we're now at this place, we're saying, okay, we think we understand what luck is. Luck is about other people. It's about us creating the habits to create the opportunities, etc.
Well, Chris, you haven't answered your question, by the way. Have you ever taken a big swing?
Have I? Yeah, I mean,
a risky big swing.
Have you ever taken a big swing when you're getting lucky?
I can't get past it.
Stephanie. I would say yes, but it's an incredibly relative question. I would say the answer would be.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris. Go ask your
question.
I
think it's a good point. But here's my question: is there a danger? And I'm thinking about founders that you and I know, Anthony, and probably people will pop into your head that they spend all of their time doing exactly what you're talking about, Stephanie. They're going out and they're meeting people and they're networking and they're connecting people and they're trying to be present. And they never actually sit down and build their product. And so it's like this constant thing where they're out being like, oh, I just talked to this person. Every time you talk to them, I just talk to the person. It's the person that's going to, make it different.
So go back to something we talked about before, which not on this episode, but a long time ago, is that the folks who are successful in getting that early adoption of whatever that is that they were going to build are the ones who generated the interest first and then went to build the product. So is that actually not a good thing to do, what you've just described?
I don't know. I think it's troubling. Like, I feel like sometimes there are those people that spend all of their time in this category, but unless you have something real, I'm not sure that you're gonna experience what we would call luck, which is, again, people connecting and helping you along your journey.
I want to ask I have two questions for both of you. One, you brought up something, Chris, that popped in, that was kind of ruminating in the back of my head, and that is there is this touchy-feely side to luck that if you can manifest your dreams, that always gives me like a yucky feeling. Like I want to take a shower when I hear it. The people that it's the same people that say you can't win the lottery unless you buy a ticket. That's true, but your odds are so low, right? And you can't. And people try to manifest things without needing to actually do the work in order to build something that people want to buy.
Okay.
How do you know if you are? How do you know who you are? How do you develop the self-awareness that you're a dreamer that's never going to do anything and break out of it versus somebody that is really trying to manifest luck? It's a very difficult question. I think it crosses founders' minds all the time. Like, what am I doing? Am I just spinning my wheels, or is something going to make it? Am I going to get lucky? Is this product going to make it past this stage of dreaming? How do you work through that?
I have opinions.
I mean, you're jumping out of your chair, Stephanie. I was not about to jump in. Like, you go right ahead.
As someone who has spent a lot of time in this sort of the manifestation world, and I would have been of the same opinion as you before, kind of going, oh, woo, woo, whatever, like, yeah, just wish for it. And that's not what it's about. Manifestation is about being very, very clear on where you're going and what you want. And when you're very, very clear on what you want and where you're going, you tend to make decisions and do things that are going to put you in that path. It's nothing spiritual. It's nothing ethereal. There's no like magic source out there that's making these things happen. You are making them happen because you have utmost clarity on what you want. And I would argue there's a lot of people that don't do that work, that actually just are like, well,
What
I
does
want
that
$10
look like?
million.
What does that look
Hmm?
like, Steph? What does that look like?
It's
Like
visualization.
practically.
Yeah, it's actual visualization and getting down to the nitty-gritty details of exactly what that looks like when it happens. So it's the same thing as like the 10x is easier than 2x book, right? So if you read that book, like good concept and everything, you don't need to read the whole book to get the idea, but his whole concept is, if I'm thinking about what it would take for me to 10x my business versus the things that I'm probably doing right now just to get to 2x, that's going to look really, really different. And if I visualize what that's going to look like, I'm going to make totally different decisions about what I spend my time on and where I invest everything and blah, blah, blah. That is what manifestation is all about. It's the visualization of where
Struggle
you're
with
going.
that. I totally believe everything that you're saying. And
Sure sounds like it.
I don't know. I totally do, but I'm struggling because the vision, you see these visualization boards and people put speedboats and Ferraris and
No.
big
That's not what I'm talking
houses
about.
and that kind of stuff. And it's like, that's not why I'm in this, right? It's not, I don't do this for those things.
No, but so that's the whole like narrow focus. I haven't experienced this, so I'm just going to think it's speedboats and Lamborghinis. Instead, think about it in the context of a business. I'm a business owner. I'm thinking about this business. What do I want it to look like? I want to have a team of 10 people, and I want to have, this type of customer, and I want these products. And so I'm going to be working towards that and making decisions in the service of that vision, as opposed to being like, what's the next little incremental thing? Of course, we're always going to get to what's the next thing I can do to get there. And so I'm not like, oh, unless I'm there, I'm not doing anything productive. But I will tell you how many founders that I've worked with who have no idea where they want to go. And they've stumbled into, somehow figuring out how to make a 7-figure business, but they don't know why they did, and they don't have any sort of, and now it's starting to fall back because they really don't know where they're going. So call it manifestation, call it visualization, call it whatever, but it's having a very clear sense of what it looks like to get there. And this is beyond just like financial forecasts and stuff like that. So there is like a very strong, powerful reason to do this, because it rewires your brain to make decisions and take actions in the service of that bigger vision, as opposed to the next little incremental thing. And that's how you put yourself in the path of luck.
So Stephanie, Chris, the next question is for you, and then we'll jump into the speed round. Stephanie talked about, people that have, and we know these founders too, Chris, that have stumbled into a 7-figure business. They literally got lucky, right? Through no fault of their own, they're a success. There is a dark side to luck that I want you to talk about. Yeah. And what I mean by that is people that were born on third base and thought they hit a triple and keep swinging for triples. And they keep making the same bets. Like the bets that you make when you're early are different than the bets that you make when you're later in your later stage. Can you talk through that a little bit?
Yeah, I think that what we're like, there's a universal law here that we're stumbling on, but this is not just for startup people. It's for every human, which is getting what you want in life really isn't all that hard. Figuring out what you want in life is. And what you're talking about with this deep thing is that when I started my first company, when I quit my day job, and I was in that aspirational camp, and I would sit and think through about what I wanted my life to be, and it was really vague. I know I wanted freedom. I wanted the ability to make my own decisions. I wanted control. But what that actually looked like, I didn't have enough experience. And lo and behold, I built a business that failed, and then a second business that did a little bit better. But then I ended up building a business that was a cage around myself that I couldn't figure out a way to get. So for all intents and purposes, I got lucky. I built a great business. I employed great people. We did great work, and I was miserable. And that's, from the outside, it looked like I was lucky. And I was very fortunate in so many ways. But without doing the work, Stephanie, and without really getting clear about the life I wanted to build for myself, I was like 30, right? Who knew what life I wanted to build for myself at that point? But it ends up, you end up building a business that you kind of got lucky into that business, but it's not the business that you want to be in. And so you feel anything but lucky, Anthony. You feel trapped. I felt trapped. I felt like I was in this business that I was incredibly fortunate. I know how many people would have loved to have built the business I built. I just had gotten unhappy along the way.
Because you went into it not knowing exactly. So I want to take a little twist with you, Stephanie, on this and just ask that question. Do the types of bets change as you mature? As your business matures?
100%.
Talk about that a little bit.
As your business matures, as long as you are paying attention and not like sticking your head in the sand, as you get better information and as your focus shifts, I think the size of your bets and the nature of them starts to change and starts to become maybe a little bit more confident and farther reaching.
How many founders? It's again an entrepreneurial trope is a founder made it big the first time out, and they think they can do it again the same way.
I have so much to say on this.
So how is that possible?
They're men, first of all, and secondly, I can't tell you how many men I have worked for who took advantage of an early opportunity, spent the early 80s in a closet learning code, and then happened to crank out something that had value and got them rich, and then was never able to repeat that again because they didn't really know why they happened to be in the right place in the right time, right? So I still argue that there was intuition involved and they put themselves in the right place in the right time without maybe knowing it. But they've never been able to repeat that, yet they still get lauded as these ultra successful, amazing business people, and they sit on boards and they sit on advisory councils and blah, blah, blah. But in 20, 30 years, never produced another thing, right? I happened to work for one of those people early in my career, and he was a freaking disaster. But he had just happened to build some telecom piece of technology in a closet when he was younger and sold it. So, and I'm being facetious, but this happens with women as well. The business that I bought a couple of years ago, was built by a woman who never figured out how to change her skills and her tactics. And when that didn't work, she just kind of gave up, right? So she got lucky because she was there at the very beginning of a new thing in an industry, and then never learned how to adapt and build upon that and see the signals from the external environment that would require her to develop new habits and new tactics, right?
I think you pulled on something that really you mentioned something that really makes an interesting point, and that is mistaking luck for skill can be life debilitating. As a founder, and just as a human being, and you have to have the humility to go, well, I did. Yes, I hit the right time, and I wrote the right code, or I built the right product, but I also got lucky, and also and being able to have the humility to work through the next one, as though you're not going to get lucky again and again and again. All right, Chris, do you want to add anything, or do you want to jump into the speed round?
I think you guys really put a nice point on it, but it also brought up that other part. And Stephanie, you mentioned it. So if I'm thinking about luck, timing and market rules all, right? And there is a real part of that. And yes, you can put yourself in the right position, but we've all seen companies that we thought was going to be a huge market never panned out. Other companies are like, I thought Uber was a terrible idea, Stephanie. It's like, It's going to go get in somebody's car. It's terrible.
We were told as kids
I've never had a problem
not-
doing that, to be honest.
not to talk to strangers
just to get
and
lucky.
not to get in their cars.
Yeah.
And now what do? We call strangers to get into their car. That is exactly right. All right, here we go. Are you ready
to get in their car? They give it
to get in their car.
To get
All right, here we go. Speed round. All right, I want both of you to answer this. So, luck or skill, which explains more founder success?
skill.
Right place, right time, or relentless persistence? Which
Relentless persistence.
Right place, right time. Just to be controversial.
All right, good. Early lucky break or late stage lucky exit? Which would you rather have?
Oh, I'm an exit strategist, so I have to say exit.
Exit.
I'm going to say early lucky break because you're not going to get to an exit unless you get lucky early.
Would you rather be born lucky or make your own luck?
Make my own.
Yeah, I think it's a false question. You can't be born lucky. You make it.
Who wrote these questions anyway? Polish and release.
All right. Chris, you said you're going to take founder fundamentals.
All right. So founder fundamentals, luck actually is two things. It's opportunity and timing of the market. Luck requires courage because you actually have to go do things. You have to get out there. Luck is about other people. It's about connecting with other people and having them help you along your journey. Create micro habits that get you in the habit of going out and doing these things. Those micro habits can help generate interest in your product. Last arc of the conversation, be clear with what you want in life and what you want to build, because be careful what you want, because you might get lucky and it might come true. It might actually come to fruition and you might end up being miserable because of it. Anything I missed?
I just add a couple more things here. I did a whole conversation about, like, does luck even exist? Like, is it actually a thing? And is it defined on a person by person basis? And then Chris finally brought up something interesting. And he talked about the dark side of early luck, where you just keep repeating your old behaviors. I've got a client that's right in that right now and trying to break them out of that, where old stuff's not working. And they're frustrated. And then also being really public with your signals all the time is a great way to generate luck.
It's like the dogma of luck. If you believe that you got lucky doing these things, you're going to do those things again and again. It's a great point.
All right, I'll go into deep dive resources here. The Serendipity Mindset, The Art and Science of Creating Good Luck by Christian Bush. Range by David Epstein. How to Decide by Annie Duke. And Testing Business Ideas by David Bland and Alexander Osterwilder. That was a great conversation.
Was that book part of the Epstein files, or
it was not? It was not.
What's the
I have nothing funny to say about any of that.
May I wish you good fortune or something like that. I think wishing people luck is actually a little bit of a curse. Like, good luck. Might be a little bit.
Yeah, isn't it sort of like an insult? Like, good luck. No, I believe in you. Like, I actually know that you're going to make it. So I don't want to.
Would you rather be lucky than good?
No.
Anthony, best of luck in the rest of your day.
All right, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you all so much for listening. Please be sure to visit us at howtofounder.com, where you can connect with us on all of the tubes. And just from the bottom of our hearts, me, Chris and Stephanie, we believe you're the pioneers of economic prosperity, and we're just really grateful to be here along the way with you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, guys.